Hello children, I am Mrs. Namita Kumar. So, I think you all are at home. Keep safe and healthy and listen to your parents, obey them. As we are unable to meet directly, so see, we all teachers are trying to reach to you through these virtual classes. Now, I am going to take you all to my computer screen. Listen to today's topic, enjoy it, and I hope you all will like it.
So, here it is. Chapter 2, The Age of Revolutions. The American War of Independence. You just see the picture. It's very colorful for you. It was the first ever organized movement in history for freedom in which people asserted the right to rule themselves. It was an inspiration to all the nations who wanted to overthrow foreign rule and win freedom for themselves. Now see, meaning of revolution. A revolution is a successful attempt by a large group of people to change the political system of their country by force. It is a very important word and 18th century. This is an important era in the history because two significant events took place that strengthened the force of democracy and feeling of nationalism throughout the world. These were the revolution in America and France. Discovery of America. Look at this picture. I hope you have identified him and you must be knowing his name. He is Christopher Columbus. So, America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. And after the discovery of America, many European countries like England, Holland, Sweden and Portugal went to settle there for freedom, money and prospects of better life. The inhabitants of these colonies fought with one another for control over the rich American resources. England was the country that outbid all its rivals, and with the support of Queen Elizabeth, they started opening colonies in America. By the middle of the 18th century AD, 13 British colonies had been established in America. Now look at this colorful picture. You just open your book. It is also given in your book very nicely. The 13 pictures of the 13 colonies on page number. You see it is given on page number 16. All the pictures of the colonies are given. It is just on the bank of the Atlantic Ocean, the the eastern coast of America. Now see the causes that led to this. The colonies were, despite enjoying independence in internal administration. What was the internal administration? They had the freedom to elect the local council by the people who resided in the colony. But the overall power was in the hands of the British. Now what happened after this? You see, the road leading up to the American Revolution didn't happen overnight. It took several years and many events to push the colonists to a point where they wanted to fight for their independence. Below are some of the key causes of the American Revolution in order they occurred. British colonies in America. As I explained you, remember, they were internally, they were having independence of administration, but it was overall economically it was controlled by the British government. Like they were forbidden to use their own ships. They have to use only the British ships for trading purposes. Products such as tobacco, sugar, cotton, etc. they had to export only to England. They could not trade with any other countries. The next is the French-Indian War. That means British had many wars that were going on outside America, and they had a great loss, and this they wanted to get it from the colonies. So what step was taken? See the third point. King George III taxed the colonies in order to pay for the loss of the war against France. Hence, the Stamp Act and Tea Act was put. Do you identify this picture? This is the ruler, the King George III, who ruled England at that time. See the second picture, and then see the Stamp Act that took place in 1765. That was passed by the British Parliament, which made affixation of stamps on all documents compulsory. What did the colonies do? They did not accept it. They refused to pay the taxes on the grounds, as the British Parliament did not have any representatives for the colonies. So the other act, that was the tax on tea. So what did they give? They gave a very common slogan of that time, that no taxation without representation. This was a common slogan by the American colonies. Under pressure from the protests, the British government repealed the Stamp Act. The next is the Boston Tea Party. This is a very important event that took place in America. Now identify this picture. This is also given in your book. And you see this event took place when? It is on 16th December 1773. See the picture? These people, they are totally in disguise. And what are they doing? They are throwing the crates of tea into the sea. On 16th December 1713, a group of people disguised as native Indians raided British ships in Boston Harbor and dumped 340 crates of tea into the sea. This incident became famous as the Boston Tea Party and was the immediate cause of the American War of Independence. A very important part. You have to read it, you have to learn it, and you have to understand it also, children. Now see, the very important, again a part that played a very important role, that is growth of intellectual awareness. Now see the picture. This is a great philosopher, John Locke. The other picture, this is John Milton. You see another picture, this is Thomas Paine. These philosophers ignited the spirit of freedom and nationalism among the youth through their writings. They inspired the residents of the colonies to raise their voice against the injustice inflicted upon them. They wrote that all men are equal and have some basic human rights. All men have a right to earn a living in any way they like and raise their voice against any kind of injustice. Now, the beginning of the war. This is the event that took place. You see this picture? This is a place where the 13 colonies people, they came up and they all met together, or that is on 4th July 7. You see, King George The conference in the representatives of the 13 colonies met at Philadelphia on 5th September 1774. An appeal was made to the British ruler, King George III, to lift the restrictions on trade and not to impose any further taxes without the consent of the colonies. The representatives also threatened to boycott the use of British goods if their demands were not met. King George III regarded this as a revolt or a mutiny and sent British troops to suppress the colonies. This incident marked the beginning of the war. Now, Declaration of Independence. This was a document that was drafted. See the picture? It's a Declaration of Independence. On 4th July 1776, the representatives of the colonies met once again and declared the independence of the 13 colonies and approved the Declaration of Independence at Philadelphia. Now, the Declaration of Independence stated, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain undeniable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness." The document was drafted by Thomas Jefferson. You see, this is the picture of Thomas Jefferson. And you see here, the declaration also asserted that British colonies had suffered long under the British rule and that they had every right to end it and form their own government. See the picture of Thomas Jefferson. This was the man who first drafted this one, the Declaration of Independence. Now see, have you heard this name? George Washington. This place is very important in America, Washington. Yes, children. Look at this picture. The picture of George Washington. He was the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War and served 2 terms as the US President from 1789 to 1797. During the American Revolution, he led the colonial forces to victory over the British and became a national hero. In 1787, he was elected president of the convention that wrote the US Constitution. 2 years later, Washington became America's first president. See this picture. This is a very important picture, and this is a very important man who played a very important role in the American Revolution. Now, the birth of USA. You see, the war ended in 1781 with the colonial emerging victorious. On 3rd September 1783, the British government and the colonies signed the Treaty of Paris, by which England recognized the independence of 13 American colonies. The colonies united together to form a new nation, the United States of America. Now you must be thinking, why Treaty of Paris? Because this treaty was signed in Paris. You just see the picture. This is the treaty that ended the American Revolutionary War. I hope it is clear to you, children. Now, the Constitution of United States, a very important thing that was written, you see, said that this is the Constitution of United States. A new constitution was drafted for America that came into force on 21st June 1788. America was declared a republic and democracy was established. Now look here, the next picture. Yes, this is the Bill of rights. You see, it is given in your book. A very important part of this, an important part of this constitution is the Bill of Rights. Why it is important? Because it guarantees American citizens the right to freedom of speech, religion and justice. So, this is the full is the American War of Independence. I hope you have understood the chapter, and please see, read the book, read the chapter properly. Any other questions and all will be clarified when we meet in the class, and go through the questions that are given at the back and do it in your copy. Thank you, children.